Phase 5 of our platform game is going to add the ability to shoot bullets at the enemies and also have some bonus items like extra lives and things like that. So this will be kind of the final touches on the system for building platform games with these particular graphics. And then, from there you can build your own levels and get creative and things like that. Okay, we're going to start by loading some sprites. And the first one we want to load is the bullet sprite. And go ahead and remove the background. We'll name it SPR_bullet. And click OK. Next, we are after the ammunition. And again, remove background. Click OK or open. SPR_ammunition. The next sprite we want is the bonus sprite, which looks like a heart. Remove background, open, SPR_bonus. And finally, we want the life graphic, which actually isn't going to be an object in the game. It's going to be used on the scoreboard to show how many lives you have left. Remove background, click open, and bring that in. Okay, let's create a couple of dumb objects that don't have a whole lot to do but just sit there so that we can program collisions with them later. And so the first one we'll do is obj_ammunition. Grab the ammunition sprite. And I think we want to set the depth to 10 on this. Because if we don't, I think this is one of those ones that shows up on top of the scoreboard, so it looks weird. So set it to 10. That'll move it a little bit into the background and keep the scoreboard in front of everything. The next object we need is object bonus. And grab the bonus sprite and set the depth to 10. And OK. And the life object for this sprite, we don't actually make an object for that. We'll use this sprite to draw a graphic later, but there's no object that goes with it. Looks like I didn't name that one. I think I do that on every tutorial. Okay, SPR_life. All right. Let's create the bullet object next, because it has some stuff to do, so it's not going to be a dumb object. Object bullet. And grab the sprite bullet. Let's see. First thing we need is a collision event. And we're going to see what happens when this object collides with a block. So if it hits a wall or the ground or anything that we've got covered by a block, we just want to destroy self. Okay, destroy the bullet, so that it doesn't just continue on or whatever. So bullets go away after they hit walls. Okay, the next thing we want to do, whoops, I didn't mean to close that. The next thing we want is a collision with a monster. And what we'll do first is we will play a sound. We'll play the kill monster sound. Loop is false. And we're going to set the score to 50 relative, so we increase the score by 50. And then we need to destroy the monster, which in this case is other. Okay, so the bullet is the one that collides, and other is what it collides into. So destroy other, so the monster gets destroyed. And then finally we will destroy self, which is the bullet. You might be wondering why we're not changing into the squished monster, but if you shoot a monster with a bullet, it doesn't get squished necessarily. So we'll just make the monster disappear. That's it for the monster. We'll click OK. Next, we want a collision event. I keep closing this out, sorry. Bullet. We want a collision event with the flying monster, object flying. And same exact deals. In fact, let me show you a trick if you don't know this. I can't remember if I've done this in a previous tutorial or not, but object flying gets treated the same way as monster. There's no different in the list of actions. It's just a different collision. So I can right click on that and choose duplicate. And obviously we can't have two of the same type of collision. GameMaker understands that I want to have the same actions on a different collision. So when I duplicate this, I'm forced to choose a different collision, and so we're going to choose object flying. And then you can see these two have the same exact list. And in this case, that doesn't matter. We set the score to 50, we play the same sound, we destroy both instances. So that's good. Everything should be fine there. And finally, we're going to add an other event. And hey, look, I didn't accidentally click OK. All right, we're going to add an other event, and this is the outside room event. So what happens when a bullet somehow gets outside of the room? If that ever happens, destroy self. And that is it for the bullet. So now we can click OK and not worry about it and save the game. Okay, most of the rest of the things get handled on the character, so let's open up our character object. And first of all, we need to have a variable that controls whether or not we can shoot. And we can only shoot if we have ammunition. We can't shoot if we don't have any ammo. All right, so let's add a create event. And remember, that means when the player object or the character object is created, we want to set a variable. And the variable we're going to set is called ammo, and we're going to set it to 0. Okay, what that does is it creates the variable called ammo. That variable doesn't exist, but when a character object is created, when the game starts, this variable gets created and attached to the player, and then we can keep track of it. Okay, so we start it at 0. Okay, we're going to go into our step event, and I'm sorry, no we're not. We're going to leave that alone. We're going to add a new event, which is a collision with object ammunition. Okay. When we collide with ammunition, we want to set the ammo variable to 10 relative to the current amount. So if there's more than one ammunition sprite out there on the game, and you touch them, you're going to increase by 10 every time. It's like picking up 10 bullets every time. So we'll click OK. And then we're also going to destroy other. Make sure you don't hit self, otherwise the character will just disappear when that happens. But destroy other, which is the ammunition. So, when you pick it up, it gets consumed, and we don't have it available anymore. Otherwise, you could just have unlimited ammunition by standing on the ammo. All right, so that's it. Next, we want a collision with a bonus object, which is the heart there. And in this case, we're going to play a sound. We'll play the finish level sound, or the sound level, a little chime noise. So that indicates they get an extra life. So we're going to go to our score tab and grab the set lives button here. And we're going to set lives to 1 relative. So we increase the lives by 1. And then finally, back to main 1, we'll destroy other. We'll destroy the bonus object so it goes away. Gets consumed. Okay, so that covers the bonus object. Now, the next thing we have to do is we have to add a new keyboard event, only we're not going to use keyboard. Okay, we use keyboard for left and right because we want the user to be able to hold those keys down and continue moving to the right, so they continuously fire. With the bullet from the gun, we don't want to do that because that means they could hold the key down and it would be like super machine gun, automatic spray of bullets, which sometimes makes the game too easy, or sometimes in a game like this, you accidentally shoot all your bullets really fast and you use up all your ammunition when you only needed 1 shot. So in this case, we definitely don't want that. We're going to use key press. And the difference is this event only fires once when the key is pressed. So if you press it and hold it down, it just gets fired 1 time. When you release it, nothing happens. When you press it again, it gets fired one time. So you have to press it multiple times to make multiple actions. We're going to use the space bar for this. So key press space. Notice it has a slightly different graphic here. And when the space bar is pressed, first we're going to check a variable. So let's go to Control. And we need to check the ammo variable. And we need to see if it's greater than or larger than 0. Okay, so if it's larger than 0, then we can go ahead and take some steps. Otherwise, nothing should happen. Okay, now if it is larger than 0 and they have ammunition, we need to fire a bullet. But before we fire the bullet, we have to know which way is the character facing. Okay, so if they're facing left, we don't want to shoot bullets to the right. It looks like it's coming out of their back. So we got to figure out which way is the character facing. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to check the sprite index, and that will tell us which sprite is being displayed. What we're going to do then is test another variable. So grab the test variable and drag that out. And the variable we're going to test is called sprite underscore index. This is a variable that already exists. Every object has this variable, and that tells you what what sprite is currently being displayed. So we're going to see if the sprite index is equal to SPR underscore left. And actually, that's not what we named it. We named it SPR character L. Okay, so if it's equal to SPR character L, in other words, if this character is being displayed, if this sprite is displayed, then obviously we're facing to the left. So in that case, we want to create an instance. Let me drag a couple more blocks out here. We want to create a moving instance. So create a moving object bullet. And we're going to create it at 0, 0 relative to the player with a speed of 12 and a direction of 180, which is left. Okay, to the right was 0, and then top was 90, and left would be 180. So click OK. Okay, next let's check another variable. If sprite index is equal to SPR character R, then we know the player's facing to the right. And so in that case, we'll create a moving instance of the bullet at 0, 0 relative to the player on X and Y with a speed of 12 and a direction of 0. Okay, and then we need to set a variable, and be careful where you drop this. Okay, it's got to be inside of this bracket set. Okay, because if ammo is larger than 0 turns out to be false, we don't want this next action to happen down here. It needs to be inside it only if it's true. So just like we only want to check if they're facing left or right if they have ammunition, we also only want to make this change if they have ammunition. So it's right here. And we're going to set the ammo variable to -1 relative. So we subtract 1 bullet from the clip or whatever. Okay. If you have this down below that, then if the player hits the space bar when they don't have any ammunition, it's going to make their ammunition a negative value. So you could end up with -10 ammunition. And then the player touches an ammunition box and gets nothing because it just ups them by 10, which makes their number 0. So we don't want to do that. Make sure that this is inside of this big bracket set here. And then these guys are inside of those. Okay, I believe that's it for the character. Now, let's test this out. I'm going to save it. We'll go to our room, and I'm going to place some objects here. So let me place a ammunition object here. Some of these don't work very well with the 8x8, so I'll go back to 16x16, and I'll put the ammunition here and here, and we'll put a bonus life right here. Okay, now these aren't going to affect anything. The bullets will work. We'll be able to shoot bullets, but the lives won't affect anything because we haven't set up the life system yet. So we'll click that, click save, and we'll practice this one. Okay, if I hit spacebar, nothing happens. I touch ammunition, and now I can shoot bullets. I can shoot that bird, and then get more ammunition here. And if I shoot all 20 of my bullets, I'm out. Okay, let's go and check that life. Okay, that works. And so we're good. Okay, let's move back in here. And we're going to create a new object to control not only the lives and things, but also the scoreboard that we're going to draw. So we're going to name this obj_controller. And this object is not going to have a sprite. You know, we've done controller objects before. And we're going to have several events. So let's start with other event, game start. Okay, and this obviously only gets fired one time when the game begins. And we're going to do, we're going to set the lives to 3. So set lives to 3, not relative, just a solid 3. Click OK. We're also going to set some information for the window. When you grab this item here, score caption, drag that out. When you take this item here, the score caption, and you drag that in, what we end up with is a lot of options for the score. And so by default, it says to show the score, and we want it to say don't show the score. And we don't want the score to show up in the little blue bar at the top of the window because we're going to put it in a different place. The lives and health by default don't show, so that should be the only thing you need to change. So click OK. All right, let's add another event. And this event is other no more lives. So if we run out of lives, we're going to show the high score table. Let's set the background to sky. Click OK. And we're going to restart the game, which is in main 2. All right. And then finally, we're going to have a draw event. And this one is tricky because a lot of times people forget that if you're going to use the draw commands, which are down here, like draw the sprite, or even in the score, if you want to draw the score or draw the lives or draw the health, you can't just do those anywhere. You can't do them in a step event. You can't do them in a collision event. You have to do them in a draw event. That's the only event that knows how to do those actions. So here's what we're going to do. In the draw event, we're going to set the drawing color. So let's go here to down to our drawing event. We're going to set the color. Grab that little color palette. And the color we're going to choose, if you click that, you get the window here. Let's choose this yellow color here. And click OK. And then we're going to draw a rectangular shape. Okay, so we're going to grab this draw rectangle. And what we get when we do that is x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. Okay, what we're doing is we're drawing the top left and the bottom right points. If the computer knows this point and that point, it can draw a rectangle. So we're going to tell it where to put these things. So for x1 and y1, we're going to use this code. We're going to remember that we can't use our room coordinates because our room, we're not able to see the entire room. We're only looking at a view inside the room. So we need to use coordinates from our view. And it might seem a little tricky when you first read this, but it should make sense. We're going to say that x1 is going to come from view underscore x view plus 5. So take the view, find the x coordinate, and add 5. Okay, so we're going to move 5 pixels to the right from the corner of the view. And that's where we'll start our rectangle. For y1, we're going to say view underscore y view plus 5, which will take the y view, the y value for the view, which is the very top edge of the view, and go down 5 pixels. So we've come down and to the right 5 pixels from the corner. Okay, so here's the corner. We come over 5 and down 5, and so it'll start at this point in the view. There'll be a little border there before we get to the scoreboard. Okay, for x2 and y2, which are going to be down here, we do a similar pattern, and we say view x view plus 100. So in other words, start up here and go over 100 for x. And then for view underscore y view, we're going to go 45. So it's going to be, the starting point will be at 5, 5. The bottom corner will be over and down, over 100 to the right and down 45. So it'll be a rectangle like that. And it's going to be filled, and that's it. So we'll click OK. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is similar, but we're going to set the color, in this case, to black. So choose black and OK, OK. And we're going to draw another rectangle. And here's the coordinates for this one. Actually, they're identical. So view underscore x view plus 5, view underscore y view plus 5, view underscore x view plus 100, and view underscore y view plus 45. The difference is this rectangle is going to be an outline. It's not going to be filled. So what we'll have is a yellow rectangle with an X, with a black border around the outside edge. Click OK. Okay, next we're going to draw the lives. So go to your score, and this yellow box with the red heart is draw lives. And what that means, it's different than set lives, test lives. We're going to draw lives. And we're actually going to draw lives as an image, which is this one with the 3 hearts. Okay, this one would draw a number. This one will draw a sprite that we choose to represent the number of lives. So drag that out. And first we have to give it a position. Where do we want to draw this one? Well, we want to draw the lives at view, x view, plus 10. So starting here on the left, top left corner, we're going to go over 10. So it'll be 5 pixels in from the edge of the score panel. And then for y, we're going to go view, y view, plus 10. So 5, 5 is where the scoreboard starts, and then 10, 10 is where the lives will start getting drawn. And for the sprite, we're going to choose sprite life. Click OK. Okay, the next thing we're going to draw after lives is the score. And so we're going to do draw score. And the location for the score is going to be view underscore x view plus 10. and view underscore y view plus 28. So from the top left corner, we're going to come over 10 and down 28. So the lives will be here, and the score will be below that. And the caption we want is to say score. So the text word score will appear there, and then the number will appear next to it, below the lives we've drawn. Okay, finally, let's check a variable. And the variable is if ammo is larger than 0, okay, then we're going to draw a sprite. And the sprite we're going to draw is ammunition. And we're going to say the x value is going to be view underscore x view plus 70. So we're going to come over 70 pixels from the left. And the y is going to be view underscore y view plus 2. So it'll be over 70 and down 2. That'll tell us whether or not we've got ammunition. And we're going to draw image, subimage 0 of the ammunition. So click OK. All right, now, in order for this all to work the way it's supposed to, we need to make sure that we place a copy of the controller object in the room. Otherwise, we'll never get this to work. So go to the room and go down to, well, you can put it anywhere. We'll grab the object controller, and I'll just place it up here in the corner. Okay. All right, let's save that, and hopefully everything was typed in correctly. Let's test it out. No, I've got an error. Okay, the reason for that error was that when I tested ammo, I forgot that ammo doesn't exist on the controller object. It doesn't know what ammo is. Ammo is attached to the character, so you have to say object underscore character dot ammo. And that's how GameMaker finds variables. So this one isn't available to everybody in the game. It's not a global variable. It's a local variable. It's attached to a specific object. So if we say the name of the object dot the name of the variable, then GameMaker can find it. So let's try that again. Okay, here is our rectangle. Got 3 lives. Our score is 0. We've got the border, and it's yellow. And right now I have no ammunition. But if I touch the gun, I should get the sprite for the gun right there, which would just indicate that I have bullets. And there it is. So I have bullets. I can shoot. Okay. I get points for the mushrooms. Ah, that's kind of tricky with that view there. I can't really see that guy. So let's get some bullets here. Fortunately, I can't shoot through that. There we go. Okay, and I can climb up and down this vine. And that works. I can jump over objects. I can go up ramps. I can go down ramps. I can collect a bonus item. And I should get a life. One thing we didn't watch out for, if you put too many lives in there, I think this will just keep drawing sprites past here. I don't think there's a check system in place to not overrun certain graphics. So, watch out for that. But that's it. So also, if I land on the spikes, I should lose a life. I didn't lose a life. I think we forgot to check that. So let's go back in there. Object character, when colliding with death. Yeah, we need to adjust this. So we need to set lives to -1 relative. Okay. Same thing with a monster. We haven't done that. So when the monster kills us, Play the sound, set lives to -1 relative, and same thing for object flying. -1 relative. Let me think, is that all the ways that we die? I think so. Let's try that again. Okay, I'm gonna run right over here and just get killed right away. This is my 4th life. Okay, lost a life. And maybe I'll... Okay, down to 2. Good, it's working. Let's just double check. I'll just die real quick and make sure we can make sure the game stops after I have no more lives. There it is. And then it restarts with 3 lives. Okay, that's it. So at this point, you can start building your own game, and I'll have some instructions for you on what the requirements are.